What's happening, guys? Sam Adams here, and welcome to the third annual Sammy Awards, hosted right here on youtube.com/SamuelAdamsMedia. My name is Samuel Adams, and today/tonight, depending on when you're watching this video, we are going to be taking a look at the best of the best and the worst of the worst in terms of video games for the year 2018. This year's show consists of 7 categories, which include the following: Best Shooter, the Rebirth Award, Indie of the Year, Battle Royale of the Year, a brand new edition for 2018, the most anticipated game of 2019, the It's a Joke, right? Award, and on top of that, we will crown Game of the Year for youtube.com/SamuelAdamsMedia. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into it. The shooter genre is one that stands the test of time, bringing players back year after year to see what new enemy needs a good shooting. 2018 was no different, bringing a plethora of games with new targets for players to take aim at. And so, let's check out the nominees for the best shooter of 2018.
Black Ops Weapons Free.
Call of Duty Black Ops 4. Battlefield 5.
You know the drill, recruit. Take out this ship.
Mother Gunship. World War III.
This world is on the brink.
Far Cry 5. And the best shooter for 2018 does go to Battlefield 5. Now, this could be a controversial one for many, but I do stand my ground in saying that Battlefield 5 is the best shooter of 2018 for many reasons. Because of certain class adjustments and also fantastic map design, in my opinion, Battlefield 5 remains an engaging experience hours and hours into gameplay, and on top of that, there is no additional paid DLC, there is no season pass, there are no map packs. Quite frankly, all the additional content coming to the game is 100% free, and that is a fantastic future-thinking approach to how you do want to sell your game. It is worth saying that Black Ops 4 is a fantastic version of Call of Duty. I'm enjoying the time that I'm spending with it because it does build on the foundation that previous Call of Duty games have laid down. But at the end of the day, Battlefield 5 is doing a lot right in terms of evolving Battlefield into what it is going to become for the next generation of consoles and, quite frankly, the next generation of gamers. And so, for these reasons, Battlefield 5 gets the best shooter of 2018. Next up, we have the Rebirth Award. Every month, hundreds of games are released. Unfortunately, some do not reach their full potential right out of the gate. The Rebirth Award is given to a game that has made a resurgence, winning the hearts of gamers back months, sometimes years, after their initial release. And so, let's check out the nominees.
I said, back in your cages!
Destiny 2 Forsaken. No Man's Sky Next. Shadow of the Colossus.
And I, Shay Patrick Cormac, will now burn their brotherhood to the ground.
Assassin's Creed Rogue Remastered.
I will hunt them down one by one.
Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition. And so the Rebirth Award for 2018 goes to Destiny 2 Forsaken, because quite frankly, Destiny 2 was in a very bad position at the beginning of 2018 and going all the way through the summer. Warmind was an impressive expansion that came out in the spring, but it didn't fix all the issues that players did have with the game. And so with Forsaken, there was another opportunity to bring players back into the mix, and quite frankly, this is the happiest I've seen the Destiny community since the game actually launched, and that's something that's very impressive considering how much negative press actually surrounded the game just a couple of months back. Now, is Destiny 2 the game that people were promised during the marketing campaign leading up to the release? That's up for debate. Is the game the best that it could possibly be right now? Again, that is a question for the hardcore fan base. But there is no denying that to be able to calm such a ravenous player base that is frustrated with the game in such a short period of time, that deserves an award. And so, for that, Destiny 2 Forsaken gets the Rebirth Award for 2018. Over the past few years, indie games have really been getting more and more time in the limelight. 2018 itself was chock full of brand new indie titles, and so let's take a look at some of the lesser known titles as compared to the big boys that came out in 2018. Dead Cells, Celeste, The Messenger, Into the Breach, Frostpunk, and the winner for Indie of the Year goes to Celeste, because it was a game that truly did impact me in a big way. I played it on the Xbox One, and I will admit that I went into it with low expectations, but as I got more into the story, and I began to see what was actually hidden behind the very charming gameplay, there was a very deep story with a very, very deep meaning, and that's something that is very admirable. It is worth noting that every game that I listed off is worth checking out. They are very impressive titles, and indies really did thrive in 2018, and I am sure they're going to continue to thrive into 2019 as more and more platforms are emerging on the PC for them to begin their journey on. But in terms of gameplay, in terms of appearance, in terms of aesthetic, in terms of overall quality, Celeste gets my award for the Indie of the Year for 2018. For the next award, 100 games drop into a map and only one will be left standing to be Battle Royale of the Year. From the changing tides of the gaming industry emerged Battle Royale, a brand new genre that married massive maps to the shooter genre. This year has been full of Battle Royale games, but let's see which one comes out on top with that chicken dinner for the Battle Royale of the Year.
Locked and loaded.
Blackout, Call of Duty Black Ops 4.
Lighting them up.
Fortnite, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, Ring of Elysium, Royale. This is a very difficult award to give because each game that I listed off did a fantastic job of carving out its own niche within the subgenre that is Battle Royale. But at the end of the day, I am going to have to give the Battle Royale of the Year to Ring of Elysium. I know what you're saying, Fortnite is such a global phenomenon, and it is true. Fortnite by all means is worthy of getting the Battle Royale of the Year just because of how many people are playing it alone, and the quality of the game is fine as well. But Ring of Elysium does something differently because it has its own map, it has its own unique ideas, and overall it's a fantastic game, and it's free to play. When it comes to Battle Royale of the Year, Ring of Elysium deserves this because of two specific game mechanics that set it apart from its competitors. And that first mechanic is the movement system, because it's very impressive how you get around such a large map with many varying heights. At the beginning of the match, there are 3 different classes that you can choose from that allow you different ways to get around the map. One has a glider, one has a zipline, and one has a snowboard. And so these different kinds of ways to maneuver around this giant piece of land really does create an engaging kind of mechanic that changes up the way you play depending on what class you are actively playing as. The second mechanic that really does impress me is the fact that whenever the snowstorm Ymir is closing in on your position, it's not just a circle that continuously closes, there are sections of the map that are cut off, and these sections have jagged edges. They have small nooks and crannies that you can hide in, and so it creates a much more strategic kind of environment in the final moments of the game, which becomes very tense as the helicopter is about to leave and there are always campers waiting to snipe whoever is first to climb that ladder. After putting over 70 hours into Ring of Elysium, I can confidently say that it is my Battle Royale of the Year, and without a doubt, it is worth trying, especially considering that it is free to play. Next up, we have the It's a Joke, right? Award which goes to a game that is so incredibly bad that people actually thought that the developers were playing a joke on them when it did launch. And so let's check out these abhorrent nominees.
We gather together to honor the completion of Vault 76.
Fallout 76. Fallout 76.
Almost heaven.
Fallout 76.
Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River.
Fallout 76. Atlas. And the winner, or the loser depending on how you look at it, is Atlas, because it's the only game that could dethrone Fallout 76 as the shitstorm of the year. After being announced at the Game Awards 2018, I'm not really sure what happened to Atlas, because it was released about 2 weeks later, and then whenever the release date actually did come, then people realized that it was going to be delayed for a couple of hours and then a couple of days, and essentially it was a rolling release date, which is not anything that I've ever heard of for a game that got pretty much the limelight for the majority of about a week. Then once players actually got into populated servers, the game was broken, it looked awful, it's nothing like anything anybody wanted whenever they saw that amazing trailer at the Game Awards 2018. But the main reason that it is getting the, it's a joke, right, award is because it's the only game that was bad enough to make people forget about Fallout 76, which has seen improvements in and of itself, but still, amazingly bad. Amazing. Next up, we have the most anticipated game for 2019. From nerds and forums to host on podcasts, this game is one that people can't stop talking about, even if we don't know that much about it to begin with. And so, let's check out the nominees. Death Stranding. The Last of Us Part 2.
I woke up in the morning about 9:30. The hacks and the buggy standing in line. Jensen gamers standing around. Taking little city to bury.
Anthem.
And wars can only do so much.
Doom Eternal. Cyberpunk 2077. And again, this is an award that is very difficult to assign a winner to because, quite frankly, these games are all very impressive, and some are coming out quite soon, which makes me a very excited individual. But I am going to have to say that the most anticipated game of 2019 is Death Stranding. I'm not even sure what's happening within Death Stranding. I really don't know, because every time I see a brand new trailer for it, I become more and more lost as to what exactly is going down. I just don't understand it. But there is no denying that the game is interesting. The game has a star-studded cast. It has an incredibly interesting narrative, and on top of that, it's gorgeous. I mean, those graphics blow my mind every time I see the trailer from last E3, and I almost guarantee the game is going to look even better when it finally does come out. There are rumors of a 2019 release date, so I'm very excited to see if that is the case. And again, I still have no idea what's happening within Death Stranding. It looks like you're some kind of Amazon Prime Now delivery boy going across a barren wasteland and suffering along the way. I have no idea, but it is something I am very curious about, and I think that it has the attention of the entire gaming industry, as Hideo Kojima normally does. And so for these reasons, Death Stranding is my most anticipated game of 2019. And finally, we have the Game of the Year for 2018. The Game of the Year is a game that proves itself to stand above the competition, pushing the boundaries of its genre and the franchise that it belongs to. This game not only creates an experience that is immersive and engaging for the player, but one that carries a significant impact for those who play. And so, let's take a look at the nominees. Game of the Year. God of War.
Peter, it's time to get up.
Marvel's Spider-Man. Red Dead Redemption 2. Fortnite. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And the winner of the Game of the Year for 2018 goes to God of War, because this game is absolutely phenomenal. And of course, it was up against some pretty stiff competition. When it comes to the Game of the Year discussion for a lot of people, it was pretty much up between Red Dead Redemption 2 and God of War. Red Dead is without a doubt worthy of Game of the Year because it does flesh out every member of the gang. You become engulfed in the world that you are living through the eyes of Arthur Morgan. But God of War completely and totally redefined an age-old franchise. The previous God of War games, and I would say even the previous Kratos, are defined by mindless violence. You didn't really care about Kratos as a person, you only cared about the anger and the madness that drove him to do what he did. Within the brand new God of War, you have a much more mature Kratos. You have a Kratos with more character, and on top of that, a brand new mythology to explore. Where the old games were defined by mindless violence, this God of War for 2018 is defined by engaging combat, it's defined by the narrative, it's defined by the relationship between Kratos and Atreus, and on top of that, it's defined by the entire world that you're exploring in Norse mythology. Although Red Dead Redemption 2 is a fantastic game, God of War took an age-old formula for how to make a God of War game and completely and totally threw it out. Yes, there are still notes that do hint that you are still playing a God of War game, but at the end of the day, when you look at what God of War has become, it has matured, it has flourished, it is amazing. And for these reasons, it gets my Game of the Year for 2018. And so that wraps up this year's Sammy Awards. I hope you guys have enjoyed this year's show. If you did, be sure to drop me a like down below and check out the other content that is on the channel. There is years worth of content there, and I cannot wait to see what 2019 does entail. But as for right now, you guys have a fantastic rest of the year, and on top of that, enjoy the games that we have talked about today. But I will talk to you soon, and peace.